The adaptation in procedures, equipment, and surroundings is what we call ergonomics. Employees should create a safe and comfortable work environment. Ergonomics, along with risk factors, assessments, intervention, decrease the risk of injury, enhance the worker productivity, and improve quality of work life. By fitting the job to the worker, not the worker to the job, applying best practices can raise production and efficiency levels, quality of service, and staff engagement. Insurance premiums are usually lower due to lower workplace injuries. In turn, workplace morale will increase due to the less pain and fewer injuries. Nothing can be assumed common sense. It's the business's responsibility to create and maintain a safe workplace. Ergonomics should be introduced when each employee is hired in quarterly evaluation periods. If ignored, there may be a number of workplace consequences. Prolonged and repetitive activity can lead to physical injuries. Employees need to be mindful of measures and they can take and reduce the risk of fatigue, stress, and work-related injuries in the workplace. This can be easily achieved by holding ergonomic awareness training sessions. Running staff training programs increases awareness, gains commitment, and ergonomic practices. OSHA refers to ergonomics as an interrelationship of workers and in their environment, and ergonomics studies the way that things vary in a group of people. With this information, the ergonomics working with designers and engineers ensures that the product of service will be able to be used comfortably, efficiently, and safely. This design must be a wide range of people who use the product, and ergonomics can also assess existing products and services, showing where they fail to fit the user and suggesting how this fit may be improved. Implementing an ergonomic process effective is reducing the risk of developing MSDs in high-risk industries by providing manager support to oversee success of an ergonomic process. Goals and objects should be discussed with workers and assign responsibilities to staff members. Workers can identify and provide information about hazards in the workplace. By voicing their concerns for reducing exposure to risk factors and the changes that should be made, it is important to identify and assess problems in the workplace before they result in MSD. Early reporting can accelerate the job assessment and improvement process, helping to prevent and reduce the progression of symptoms, the development of serious injuries, and lost time claims. MSD can be present in tendons, muscles, joints, blood vessels, and back. Symptoms may include pain, discomfort, numbness, and tingling in affected areas and can differ from severity from mild to severe, chronic, and debilitating conditions. Physical workplace risk factors may contribute to MSD. Overexertion injuries typically result in strains and sprains to the muscles, tendons, or ligaments. They can occur from a single lift or forceful exertion when the task performed exceeds the strength of active muscle group. Specific risk factors that are associated with overexertion injuries include forceful exertion, awkward posture, rapid movement, and unanticipated muscle loading. Material handling tasks such as pushing, pulling, lifting typically require forceful exertion. Such exertion may result in back or pain and other MSDs. Way to reduce forceful exertion includes mechanical assistance to move heavy loads when possible, use power tools to avoid high forces, reduce the weight of loads that need to be handheld manually, and reduce the resistance and the worker act against when pushing and pulling. Temperature extremes can also be an impact on the potential for overexertion injuries. Working in a hot environment under high metabolic load can lead to heat stress or whole body fatigue. Working in a cold environment can result in reduced blood flow, muscle tension, which makes muscles cause strains. Ensuring employees at all levels in the organization understand the risk factors for overexertion injuries will aid in the identification and improvements that you may have otherwise overlooked. Employee involvement is extremely helpful in the development of ergonomics improvements and the overall ergonomic process. Developing your workplace ergonomics program can protect your employees and prevent workplace-related injuries. Focus on safety issues like ergonomics can also develop competitive edge by attracting good employees. It helps to have one person coordinating your overall ergonomics improvement effort because having one person in charge can make it easier to take organized, logical approach. Ideally, this person will be a safety professional, perform assessments to verify the best practices put in place. Start by evaluating employee workstations. Everything in the workplace environment can affect ergonomics, including temperature, quality of light, and layout of the office furniture. Set goals and develop budget and a timeline for the completion of these changes to ensure that the changes will be made. Provide training for your workers to stay safe and work in correct positions that will help ensure that your changes around the workplace are as effective as possible. Invest in the right equipment, including correct chairs, desks, and electronic devices. While some of these pieces can require a significant monetary investment, the reduced health care cost will help pay for the investment with time. Employee involvement with lower MSD cases. Have employees provide feedback for an overall well-being throughout a normal workday to collect data. Assess data to determine the best work practice will work for your employees. There are two approaches to ergonomics, microergonomics and macroergonomics. Both aim to improve efficiently in the workplace. However, by very different means, micro can focus on the distinct components in the workplace. It attempts to optimize the connection between individual operators and the work environment. Macro focuses on the system as a whole in an effort to drive productivity and results across the breadth of the organization. Macro combines social and technical systems approach to the design of work systems, applying an overall work system design of the human job and the human machine. Although micro were applicable and evident during the first 30 years of this field, we now know that it is not enough to provide lasting solutions in the workplace. By only focusing on problems between individual operators and their environments, micro fail to recognize how the distinct problems are interconnected. Micro will focus on the workstations in isolation and may miss the links to equipment standards, design criteria, production demands, and work rest cycles. The macro approach addresses all the factors in the workplace and how individual components work or don't work with each other. Micro reveals the symptoms of a larger problem. Problems that remain in micro level continue to struggle because they never bring together all the elements affecting the success of a system. Employees and contractors work in the oil and gas industry are exposed to full range both MSD risk factors and MSD injuries. Injuries include sprains, strains, and muscle spasms on the lower back, tendinitis in the hands and forearms, tears in ligaments and cartilage in shoulders, and knee and nerve entrapments such as sciatica and carpal tunnel syndrome. MSD are typically the number one cause of work-related injury in the oil and gas operations. Understanding the physical requirements of the job task and developing appropriate fitness activities to help prepare employees for the specific work activities and can reinforce field ergonomics. Daily job safety analysis to discuss new ideas, equipment, and work process can help manage to put better into place work practices. Safety stand-downs on a job brings together frontline workers and senior executives to discuss the prevention on injuries and illnesses. A monthly safety meeting examining MSD topic will help you with training and understanding best practices in the field. Topics listed below are good ideas for oil and gas work. When manually handling a slip, if hydraulic or motorized slips are not being used, the use of 3 employees as opposed to 2. To reduce the risk and injury to put into practice of many drilling locations, slip hazards on the floor may be reduced by using roofing paper or other floors that may have high coefficients of friction. When standing, good posture exists when the head is centered over the shoulders and the trunk or the upper body is erect. The upper arms are relaxed down by the sides and the trunk and the hips. Changing the orientation on handles of tongs has helped reduce hand injuries and reduce the incidence of crushing fingers between pipes. Hydraulic and motorized slips operated by a driller using a foot pedal have been beneficial in reducing the awkward lifting postures and handling slips when tripping pipe. The works in the oil and gas industry are usually performed in open exposed fields, constrained areas, and restricted spaces. Slippery surfaces, carrying, lifting, lowering, pushing, and pulling tasks, fall protection challenges, as well as repetitive tasks such as valve trimming, which increases the force of risk to employees. Temperature exposure is a potential safety hazard. The oil and gas industry has invested in much improvement to reduce accidents and injuries over the years. The majority of the works involve long periods of standing, lifting moderately heavy objects, and climbing and stooping to work with tools. Oil and gas well drilling and servicing operates 24/7 and can be hazardous. Working in the oil and gas industry can generally be characterized by diverse schedules, long working hours, and hot and cold weather. Such hostile working conditions could increase accident and injuries. Workers from the oil and gas industry are largely uncovered to ergonomics-related injuries, and injuries risks such as repetitive bending, lifting heavy items, pushing and pulling weight loads, reaching overhead, performing the same or similar tasks repetitively, and working in awkward body positions. As a result, managers in the oil and gas business have frequently received worker complaints such as chronic fatigue, back pains, headaches, upper body strains, sleep disorders, and stresses. These complaints are indications of the ergonomic deficiencies in work system in the industry. It would be ineffective to implement ergonomic interventions at the design stage or renovation of a facility, although it can be applied to a facility during any phase of its life cycle. If an oil platform or facility needs to achieve injury and incident-free performance, ergonomics must be a large part of that effect.